गजाननाय नमः। ओम वक्रतुंडाय नमः। ओम शूर्पकर्णाय नमः। ओम हेरंभाय नमः। ओम स्कंदपूर्वजाय नमः। ओम श्री सिद्धिविनायक स्वामिने नमः। ओम स्फटिकरजतवर्णं मौक्तिकीम् अक्षमालाम् अमृतकलशविद्यां ज्ञानमुद्रां कराग्रे ददतमुरुककक्षं चन्द्रचूडं त्रिनेत्रं विद्युदविदभूषं दक्षिणामूर्तमीडे। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा. So we'll do it together, and if I see you're not, there's some variation in the way it should be, then we'll repeat it, otherwise we'll do it together. Om Omkar Simha Sarvendraya Namaha. Om Omkaro Dhyana Kokilaya Namaha. Om Omkar Nida Shukaraje Namaha. Om Omkar Jaraya Namaha. Om Nagaraj Nijalaya. Sorry, you're right. Nagaraj Sutajanaye Namaha. Om Nagaraj Nijalaya Namaha. Om Navamanikyamadhyaya Namaha. Navachandra Shikhamanaye Namaha. Om Nandita Shesha Maunindraya Namaha. Om Nandi Shadimadeshikaya Namaha. Om Mohanala Sudhasaraya Namaha. Om Moham Bhujasudhakaraya Namaha. Om Mohandakarataranaye Namaha. Om Mohotpalanabhomanaye Namaha. Om Bhakta-jnanabdhishitanshave Namaha. Om Bhakta-jnanatrinalaya Namaha. Om Bhaktam-boja-sahasranshave Namaha. Om Bhakta-keki-ghana-ghanaya Namaha. Om Bhakta-kairavarakendave Namaha. Om Bhakta-koka-divakaraya Namaha. Om Gajananadi-sampujyaya Namaha. Om Gajacharmo-jwalakritaye Namaha. Om Ganga-dhavala-divyangaya Namaha. Om Ganga-pankila-sajjataya Namaha. Om Gaganambar-samvritaya Namaha. Om Gaganamuktamurdhajaya Namaha. Om Vadanabjajitabjashriye Namaha. Om Vadanenduspuruddashaya Namaha. Om Varavanayapunaya Namaha. Om Vanavirojwalatkaraya Namaha. Om Vanavasasamullasaya Namaha. Om Vanaviraikalolupaya Namaha. Om Tejabhunjaganakaraya Namaha. Om Tejasamapibhasakaya Namaha. Om Vineyanam Tejapradaya Namaha. Om Tejomaya Nijashramaya Namaha. Om Damikrananga Sangramaya Namaha. Om Darhasajitanganaya Namaha. Om Dayarasasudha Sindhave Namaha. Om Daridhradhanashevadaye Namaha. Om Kshirendu Spatikakaraya Namaha. Om Shirendu Mukutojwalaya Namaha. Om Shiro Pahara Rasikaya Namaha. Om Shipraishvarya Phalapradaya Namaha. Om Nana Bharana Mugdhangaya Namaha. Om Nari Sammohana Kritaye Namaha. ॐ नाद ब्रह्मरसास्वादिने नमः। ॐ नागभूषिणभूषिताय नमः। ॐ मूर्तिनिन्दितकन्दर्पाय नमः। ॐ मूर्तामूर्तजगत्पपुषे नमः। ॐ मूलाज्ञानतमोभानवे नमः। ॐ मूर्तिमत्कल्पपादपाय नमः। ॐ तरुणादित्यशङ्काशाय नमः। ॐ तन्त्रीवादनतत्पराय नमः। ॐ तरुमूलैकनिलयाय नमः। ॐ तप्तजाम्बूनदप्रभाय नमः। ॐ तत्त्वपुस्तोलसत्पाणये नमः। ॐ तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः। ॐ यमसंयुतसत्कीर्तये नमः। ॐ यमसंयमसंयुताय नमः। ॐ यतीन्द्रोमौनिने नमः। ॐ यतीन्द्रोपास्यविग्रहाय नमः। ॐ मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः। ॐ मन्दस्मिताय नमः। ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः। ॐ मधुरापल्लवालाय नमः। ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः। ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः। ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः। ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ हंसव्यक्षमालाढ्याय नमः। ॐ हंसेद्वाराद्यपादुकाय नमः। ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः। ॐ मेघश्याममनोहराय नमः। ॐ मेधाङ्कुरालबालाग्र्याय नमः। ॐ मेधापक्वफलद्रुमाय नमः। ॐ धार्मिकान्तर्गुहावासाय नमः। ॐ धर्ममार्गप्रवर्तकाय नमः। ॐ धामत्रयनिजारामाय नमः। ॐ धर्मोत्तममनोरथाय नमः। ॐ प्रबोधोद्गारदीपशिलाचन्द्राय नमः। ॐ प्रज्ञामणिवराकराय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानान्तर्भासात्मने नमः। ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञातिकृताय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानज्ञाद्वैतदिव्यांगाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञातिकुलागताय नमः। ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताग्र्याय नमः। ॐ प्रणतार्थब्धिवाडवाय नमः। ॐ भूतानां प्रमाणभूताय नमः। ॐ प्रपञ्चहितकारकाय नमः। ॐ यत्तत्त्वमसि संवेद्याय नमः। ॐ यक्षगेयात्मवैभवाय उद्धराय नमः। ॐ छत्राधिपतिविश्वेशाय नमः। ॐ छत्रसामरसेविताय नमः। ॐ छन्दशास्त्रादिनिपुणाय नमः। ॐ छलजात्यादिदूरगाय नमः। ॐ स्वाभाविकसुखैकात्मने नमः। ॐ स्वानुभूतिरसोददये नमः। ॐ स्वारापदति ॐ हासोदस्तारिमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ हालाहलोज्ज्वलगलाय नमः। ॐ हार्दग्रन्थिविमोचकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमेधादक्षिणास्वामिने नमः। ॐ श्रीदयानन्दसद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ श्रीमहेशानन्दसद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। Let us see a couple of meanings of these verses. So I think we have done 4 so far. So we have done Om, Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. So that one we had done last time. So let's do number 5. Om Nagaraja Sutta Janaye Namaha. So Swami Tattvavedananda Ji's Sanskrit commentary. First of all, Nagaha. Nagacchati iti Nagaha Parvataha. The one that does not move. Gaha means the one that moves. Gacchati iti Gaha. Nagaha means the one that does not move. So, meaning Parvataha. Tesham Raja Nagarajaha Himalayaha. So out of all the forests, the best forest amongst them is the Himalaya, the whole mountain range of Himalaya, which used to be all in India, but it has been broken up into, from political standpoint, into Pakistan and China and all kinds of funny stuff, but it is, this is what is called Hindu Kush, a set of Himalaya. And the legend has it that really all of the Mahatmas and sannyasis, they would live there, including Shiva's abode was all in the Himalayas. So even in the Gita, it mentions that out of all the mountains, Himalaya is the best. And so I think I mentioned it to you before. This used to intrigue me, bother me a little bit about how come in the Gita Sri Krishna talks about out of all of the following things, I am this. Remember I mentioned that to you? And you remember what the answer was? That finally it kind of made it clear. And remember, anyone can tell?
He is in everything.
Huh?
He is in everything, including that.
So just to tell you that, he said that if you look at a human form, okay, so the human form means that the entire body of a human being has lots of things in it, like a face, hands, and he specifically mentioned the back of a human being. Okay, the back of a human being. So now he says, Swami Maheshananji says, that even though you have a particular form of a human being, you cannot tell that by looking at the back of the human being. First of all, our backs are all covered, but supposing we are half naked, will you be able to recognize anyone by the backs of the human being? The face of the human being is the one that distinguishes the human being from the other human beings, any one particular being. And so therefore, it doesn't mean that the human being is not it's not as though the human being is only the face. It is the entire body, you see, but a particular distinction makes it easier to distinguish that person from the others, which is the face. So similarly, it's not as though that Paramatma is not there in all the Himalaya, all the Parvatas, but the Himalaya is like the face of it. When Swamiji gave that example, now the whole thing became, because it used to intrigue me and bother me a little bit, that how come Krishna is saying that I am the the best amongst this, I am the best amongst this. It doesn't mean that he's not in all the places, but where it is easily recognizable. So similarly here also, that is what the third line of this translation says. Sthavaranam Himalayaha iti Gitacharya Charyana Uptam. In the 10th verse, in the 10th chapter, 24th verse, Sthavaranam. So Sthavara means one that does not move. Same thing as Nagaraja. Same thing as Naga. And here Sthavara also means the one that does not move. Amongst all of these stationary objects, the Himalaya iti Gita Charyana Uktam. Gita Charyena Uktam. Tasya Devatmanaha Suta Jaganmata Parvati. So then it is written in our Puranas that the Parvati, the consort of Shiva, is the Tasya Devatmana Suta Jaganmata Parvati. Tasyaha Janihi Patihi Shivaha Dakshinamurti Rupena Rishibhyaha Jnanam Dadati. So this is kind of like the indirect way of indicating Shiva. So Shiva and Parvati are of course the Purusha and Shakti. Purusha and Shakti. And so Shiva of course is the Purusha, which means the very content of the universe. And Shakti means the form of the universe. So Parvati here means the form of the universe, and Shiva represents the content of the universe. And both of them are represented by the Parvati and Shiva both having an abode in the Himalayas as a symbol. Why? Because the Himalaya is the residing place of Mahatmas and Sannyasis. And so just like we say Mauna Vyakhya. So in the most important talk is given in silence. And so similarly, our own nature as human beings is that as we have been studying and we will continue to study, that even though we are capable of talking, of walking, of doing, all those are our Shaktis. But our essence is Shiva, the silence. All these doing and talking and moving are temporary. They kind of come out of, as we will study even in today's class, they kind of come out of the silence and go back into the silence. So in some way, if you look at that way of looking at it, the Himalaya represents where things flow from, the water flows from there, things happen. But it represents the abode of silence of the rishis, of the Mahatmas, who just stay there. So in that sense also, this particular verse has some meaning. So now we can summarize it. Om Nagaraja Suta Janaye Namaha. So it's an indirect Namaskara to Shiva. My Namaskara, Namaha, to who? Suta Janaye. Suta here means the wife, who is the presiding deity of the mountain range, and her husband, which is the Purusha, which is Shiva. So that is the sense of meaning of it, is Om Nagaraja Suta Janaye Namaha. So when we chant, we should kind of keep that in mind in terms of what that means. And I think in that sense, we can even go to the next one, which is easier. Om Nagaraja Nijalayaya Namaha. Nagarajaha is again the Himalayaha, the Raja of all the Nagas. Nagarajaha Himalayaha Nijalayaya Swiya Nivasasthanam Yasya Tasmai Namaha. Nijalayaya. Nija means one's own. One's own. Swiya, the one who resides in their own place. It's kind of like a home. You know, when you travel, you also travel in a room somewhere, but that's not your home. Then when you come back to your own home, so this is what is called Swiya Nivasasthanam. A home means Swiya Nivasasthanam. Your own home, you're most comfortable in it. That's where you spend most of your time on. So that also is indicative of Himalayas. So the Himalayas, which is Nagarajaha, Nijalayaha, Alayaha. In fact, here you can say Himalayaha. So Alayaha means the sthanam, a place. So for example, you can say, so Himalaya means, Hima means snow. Where the snow has the home, which is, and this is unfortunate really speaking, that all this global warming is making even Himalayas, probably will be the last one to stay there, but it's there's a possibility. They say that Ganga may not flow continuously. You know, this is what human beings do. They violate the natural laws, but eventually it will be okay. So, I think it will be all right. So anyway, so this is the meaning of this. Nagarajaha Himalayaha Nijalayaha Swiya Nivasa Sthanam Yasya, whose home is Himalaya, means Shiva. Tasya Tasmai Namaha. Sarva Vyapakopi, he says it some more, that even though Sarva Vyapakaha api Bhagavan Himalayeshu Amarnatha Kedaranatha Kailasa Ityadi Rupena Bhakt Janaihi Samsevyate. So again the same topic, that even though he's all over the place, it's a very beautiful thing to see that if the Bhagavan is there throughout the whole world, why do we have to go to these pilgrimage spots? Same idea, that we do that because even though Bhagavan is, but there are places where there are different parts of the body that cannot be distinguished as a peculiar form of Bhagavan. And so all the Tiratha sthanams, all the pilgrimage places are like the faces of Bhagavan. So that's the beauty of that art, of that concept. So, though all-pervading, the Lord is worshipped by the devotees in the form of Amarnath, Kedarnath, Kailash, etc. Yes. So that's what it means. Om Nagaraja Nijalayaya Namaha. So with that, we did two more. And we'll continue with this. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Yomamadhyatpadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gukarastvandakaro Vai Gukarastvanivartakaha Andakara Nirodhitva Guruvidyavidhirate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishamahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. So let us see. So let's chant three verses, number 12, 13, and 14 of the Karika. Number 12. Kalpatyatmanatmanam Kalpatyatmanatmanam Atma Deva Swamayaya Sa eva buddhyate bhedan Iti Vedanta Nishchayaha Vikaroti aparan bhavan Antaschitte vyavasthitan Niyatamscha bahishchittaha Evam kalpayate prabhu Chittakala hi yentastu Dvayakalascha ye bahihi Kalpita eva te sarve Vishesho nanya hetukaha. So I would just start this class by saying that especially this class, which is the most senior class, many of you have been studying for a while, what I think your goal should be is to completely represent in your own mind and in the way you can communicate to others what the vision of Vedanta is. So, very simply, if you were just imagine, you can even you can just imagine this conversation that you're having with a serious person, not a casual kind of a person, but supposing you meet someone or even a friend of yours and so on, and say, what are you studying? And I'm studying Vedanta. Well, can you tell me a little bit more about it? Who are we? What's a human being? What is our concept of Ishvara? How did it all begin? How does anything begin? Where does it end? So those kind of questions you can even propose to yourself. And I think our goal should be in this class that you should be able to answer the most basic questions comfortably. So this is, if you are able to do that, then your Shravanam is complete. Mananam is not complete yet, and Nididhyasanam is not complete, but at least Shravanam is complete. So you're not qualified to even, it is exactly like in a medical science, you're not even qualified to treat a patient until you know what the disease is. And in order to know what the disease is, you have to really study the basics of the medicines. Now, then comes application. This is where you become some kind of a person that can try it out on people and so on and so forth. And you'll be evaluated, you will be doing self-evaluation. And finally, you can solve somebody's problems. But in order for you to do that, you have to study the subject matter so that it's really in your mind. It's not as though you have to consult page number. Let's see, what does it say that here? No. So I think our goal should be, in this class, and you can construct it, just pose questions to yourself, or if you need help, we can give it to you. All questions about, the origin, the end, the objective, the method, the sadhana, sadhya. What is it that the Vedanta, because everybody is saying something. Everyone has their own ideas. But Advaita Vedanta has a vision, and that is a vision that I think we should know very well. And so that should become your goal in that sense. You should really know the subject matter very well. Not to impress anybody, that's not the idea. But to really be very comfortable that I know exactly. Even though, so this is Shravanam. So even though you may have some doubts about it, I'm not saying that you are so clear about it that you can, you have become a Jivan Mukta. That comes later. That comes with Mananam and Nididhyasanam. But at least the Shravanam means, you may have some doubts. If somebody says, how exactly is this? You'll say, I'm still figuring that out myself. But at least the basics of it you should know very well. Okay? And so this whole, at least even in this text of Mandukya and Karika, and really all the other texts that we have studied so far and so on, you should have a pretty good idea about what the basics of Vedanta are in your own mind. So with that preamble, let us look at how these two particular verses, all these verses are saying. And in fact, this is stated in the words iti Vedanta Nishchaya. Iti Vedanta Nishchaya means this is the vision of Vedanta. Because up until this point, the question was that you were saying that the Swapnavastha is also not real, it is changing. And you are also saying that even our Jagrat Avastha is changing and so on. So is everything changing? It must be changing with respect to who? Who is that person? So this is the answer to those kinds of doubts that can be posed by our own mind and by others. So whenever you have a school of thought that gives you a certain viewpoint, all the school of thought does is to amplify and to clarify some of the doubts that we have in our own mind. How does the whole thing came about? Like, for example, take for instance the origin or the shrishti or the creation. Let's just take one example. So the question is, how does creation takes place? How does it get started? This is what everybody is, if unless you're just don't care about those kinds of things, but if you really want to inquire, one of the questions we all have is, how does creation occur? And this can have lots of different aspects to it. Does it come from nothingness? Is it in some kind of a form which was, is creation possible with some particles and some things? That sounds pretty reasonable. But creation consists of, tables, chairs, people, human beings, walls, etc. They must have some atomic structure. What is that atomic structure? Like that, you have lots of questions about creation. With respect to that, the question is, what is Vedanta saying? What is Vedanta saying? And so some samples are given even in here. So the Vedanta, as you know, says, since I've posed the question, I might as well at least give you a quick answer, and then we will look at it in more detail later. What Vedanta is saying, that really speaking there is, and so you should be able to say this. You should be able to explain it to someone. If someone poses to you in a conversation, how does the creation begin? What is Vedanta saying? You should be able to say, this is what we are saying. Not that I'll get back to you later. And what Vedanta is saying is that this is not a process of. And how does manifestation take place? And the next question is, manifestation of what? What do you mean by manifestation? Fine, I understand I conceptually understand manifestation and non-manifestation. That I understand. But of what? Manifestation of what? This you should also be able to explain. And so there, you should represent Vedanta, that what it is saying is that there's so many, you just start with this question on creation, and if you really wanted to adequately answer it, there are a number of subsidiary things that you have to also get to know very well. And so one of them is that creation has two elements. One is the intelligence of the Creator. And so very simply, supposing you have what is called a ghatakara, means you have someone who is very adept in making clay pots, ghatakara. And so the ghatakara you have some shape in your mind. This is what I want to do. I want to do a long-necked vase, and it should have this much length, and this is the shape I want, and so on. You haven't created it yet. So this is exactly what is being talked about here. He says, Vikiroti aparan bhavan antaschitte vyavasthitan, on the first line of verse number 13. So I'm just looking at it from a different viewpoint. And so this is what a Ghatakara does, is to create a pot in the mind first. And then you actually find a substance to actuate the creation. So those are the two elements of creation that are necessary. So this is what is called nimitta karanam. Nimitta karanam means what is the intelligence behind the creation, and upadana karanam, which is what is the material, where does it get the material from. And so imagine you're explaining this to your friend who's saying, how did creation take place? What does Vedanta say about creation? So you should be able to carry a conversation which says, we think logically that any creation has these two elements. And so then the question is, who created this whole creation? Well, whoever created is very intelligent, because there's a lot of very sophisticated things going on. This is not random. This is something which is very well constructed. And so whoever that is very, very intelligent, very knowledgeable, and one who has all of the material already available. Because it doesn't make sense for us to postulate an extreme intelligence but not having availability of material. That doesn't make any sense at all. That cannot do that, because that means that you are still depending on other things. And in fact, this is one of the issues that stumps many of the schools of thought, because they all agree that Ishvara is very intelligent. They all have their own creation. God is very intelligent, very powerful. Well, what about the material? Where did they get the material from? Well, they're not sure, but it happens, okay? Don't worry about it. It just happens. And so Vedanta says you cannot just say it happens. You have to explain how. So here we say that Ishvara is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam, and we have already given you a couple of examples, that just like a spider or like a dreamer. So dream is a very good example. Then Swami Maheshwaranji gave another very beautiful example. He says, if you look at the forms within an ocean, and so you have small wavelets, you have froth, you have huge, you have ice that is formed, and you have so many variations of the ocean. Small wavelets, you have huge waves that can overturn ships, you have, and then you also have these bubbles, budbudani. So you have froth and so on. Where does it come from? So there we can say that the ocean has the ability to create all these forms from within itself. Nothing more is needed. You just can create all the waves, various forms, and even the color of the ocean can be slightly different. One is bluish, one is greenish, all within the ocean itself. And so you don't need any outside things of the ocean creating things by itself. The fact remains that the ocean itself does not change. It can create changes, but with respect to an unchanging nature of itself. So this is what is being pointed out in verses number 12, 13 in particular, and continuing on with 14. Okay. It says, Kalpayati Atmana Atmanam Atma Devaha Swamayaya. So, Atma Devaha. And so this is not just theoretical stuff, by the way. It's not as though this is kind of like, we're not quite sure, but this is what I kept saying. This is not a philosophy. Philosophy is a set of things that are proposed to answer questions. I think that might explain it. We think so. We're not sure, but out of all of the possibilities, this seems to fit the situation that it's not like that. It is vidya. Vidya means that it stands the test of your own experience. It is in fact factual. And when you're talking to your friend, I'm just imagining the same conversation. You don't have to say all of that because it sounds like, how do you know? How do you know? And how can you tell? This can come later on, but just the fact of the matter is that this is vidya. It is not philosophy, it is not speculation. And so one of the aspects of this is that this is how I create things, and then it comes back to me again. So this is exactly where the dream sequence is very important. It's something which has a form and function and so on and so forth, all comes out of me and gets resolved into me. And how does it happen? When you really think about it, this is an amazing thing. How is it that I'm manufacturing this dream with great detail? It's not just funny stuff. It's just, while I'm in the dream, it looks very real. And so, how does that happen? Well, I have the power. So here you can even construct this dialogue with your friend. So he says, how is that possible? What are you talking about? You can think about it yourself and you can communicate to your friend like this. Do you know that sun, the light, the heat, and the actions are all created in complete darkness? Where does it come from? There's no outside light for you to see the sun, and yet you're watching the dream like a movie in full sun. You can even say, this is too hot, I can't bear it. You can create out of the Atma has that ability. Satyam Jnanam Anantam, it has all abilities that's very possible. It doesn't need any other than itself. It doesn't need anything else. Just like the ocean can create all of the things, Atma can also create it. It's very possible. How? How can you say that? You can give an example of the dream, but at a larger scale, the same power that enables you to see a dream through nidra, through the power of sleep, that on a larger scale, that power is called Maya. So Maya means there is an ability given in the creative power of Ishvara, where something that doesn't exist can be seen as existing. Yama sa maya. One which is not there appears to be really seven. This is one of the tenets of Vedanta. Then someone can say, how? How is that possible? Then you can say it is possible, like in a dream. When there is nothing there to create something, is a power, is a particular power. And the whole creation is also in the form of a Maya Shakti. So this is exactly what he's saying. He says, Kalpayati Atmana Atmanam. Atmana means like the ocean creating all these interesting things by itself. Atmana. Atmanam means that all the various, no matter what the details are, what the forms are, everything. Swamaya. And the other examples, as you know, are that the spider. So the spider has two Shaktis. So one is the thinking faculty, and the other one is its own Annamaya Kosha. Through the Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, it has the ability to create. It has the ability. And the ability to create is also stored in the mental vrittis from the previous life. Vasana. This is how a baby bird starts to fly without being taught. The mother doesn't need, just look at the beauty of the nature. The bird, the mother bird doesn't need to say, okay, you see this left flap, sorry. So the little one says yes. You see the right one? Okay, yes. Now move them. How to move them? Not just move them like this. No. Similarly, the baby of a human being starts to suck automatically. All this comes from a continuity of samskaras from the previous life. And when the baby cries, it's all a samskara that I'm not comfortable. How does it know to cry if it is not comfortable? So there is a continuity of the creation. And so this is how it is done. So he says that Kalpayati Atmana Atmanam Atma Devaha Swamayaya. And so we saw in the explanation of the word Devaha and also Prabhuhu, which is the next one. In fact, I'll complete this thought when I go to verse number 13. Vikaroti aparan bhavan. Vikaroti aparan bhavan. So here Swami Paramarthananda had a very good, Swami Maheshananji had a very good explanation. Vikaroti aparan bhavan means, Vikaroti means vividham karoti. It creates a lot of detail, just like the ocean also creates all the varieties of waves, etc. So this is called vikaroti, not just karoti. Vividham karoti, different forms. And it has the ability to have infinite forms. Aparan bhavan. Aparan bhavan means it itself is perfect. Perfect means Devaha and Prabhu. So Devaha means Dyotana Atmika. And Prabhu means Prakarshena Bhavati. We saw the meaning in the last class. And again, you should be very familiar with these words and what Vedanta is saying. Devaha means it is the nature of jnanam, knowledge, nature of light, nature of understanding. Dyotana Atmika. It doesn't need knowledge from any others. It is by itself knowledgeable. And you can tell this from your own experience. No matter where you are in your life, what your situation is, whether you're sleeping, you are waking, you're dreaming, whatever happens, you have the sense, I know. This is Dyotana Atmikaha Devaha. I know. How everything is colored by this thought, I know. This is Devaha. And Prabhu. And so we talk about Jiveshwara Aikyam, the identity between Jiva and Ishvara. That the human being is nothing but another way of expressing Ishvaratva and Prabhu. Ishvara also has I know. Same consciousness as you and I have. Exactly the same consciousness. There's only one consciousness, only one vastu in the whole world. One Devaha. There's only one Devaha. And that Devaha is our consciousness as a vastu. I know. Now, the Jiva's I know is modulated by our experiences because we are in a particular shape and form. Therefore, I know is further explained by some things that I don't know. So you just see this two-step process. One is that I know. And what is it that you know? Some things you know, some things you don't know. But over and above what you don't know and what you know is I know. The consciousness, the awareness, the knowledge actually. Dyotana Atmika means the knowledge. If this was not to be the case, life will not function. So for example, you can say, I do not know this particular language. And we can say, how do you know if you don't know the language? How can you say I don't know? Hey, I know I don't know. And do you know this language? Yes, this language I know. So the Jiva's I know is further modulated by some things. Ishvara's I know is not modulated. It just says I know everything. So the Ishvara's I know may not be further modulated not modulated in the sense, not circumscribed. There is no ignorance in the knowledge of Ishvara. There is ignorance in some of the aspects of the knowledge of the jiva, but in both cases, he says, I know. This is what is called Dyotana Atmikaha Atma Devaha. This is one thing. Then comes Prabhuhu. Prabhuhu means, Prakarshena Bhuhu means, it is not just the truth, but the ultimate truth, the ultimate existence. We gave that example in the last class, that for example you can say, was John there in the class? And you can say, no, John was not there. I know John was not there in the class. So this is called truth. It's called truth. But a truth which is conditional truth. What do you mean by conditional truth? That means that with respect to his presence in a particular class, he was not there. He may be elsewhere. It's called conditional truth. That means that it is conditioned by place, time, and a situation. In the case of Prabhuhu, there is no place where that person is not there. In fact, that applies to you and I. There is no place, no time, no situation that I am not there. I am both conditionally true and unconditionally true. I am conditionally true because at the moment I am in Milpitas in this class. It is kind of like saying, at the moment I am this wave. But you cannot say that I will never, that I will cease to be. A wave has both conditional truth as well as unconditional truth. Specificity as well as non-specificity. Same thing is true for us. I am both conditionally true and unconditionally true. Unconditionally there. So my Sat is of two types. And they are really not two types, they are the same Sat. But viewed from the standpoint of conditionality, yes. But viewed from the standpoint of the content, yes, I am there. At the moment, my entire estimation of where I am is just conditionally true. That's all it is. A wave just chooses at that point or is unable to see that it is the entire ocean. There's no fundamental difference between the wave and the ocean. You cannot even construct a wave without water. An ornament cannot exist without the gold or the silver. Not possible. So this is what is called Prabhu. So now going back to what I said earlier, aparan bhavan vikaroti. So here Swami Maheshanji pointed out that the bhavan of the Deva and Prabhu is paran bhavan. Paran bhavan means it is the ultimate superiority. You cannot have superiority better than this. Why not? Because one which is always there, always aware, Satchidananda, always there. But Satchidananda also has the ability to create aparan bhavan. So what does it mean? It means that any vikaroti has to be less than perfection. Aparan bhavan means something which is less than perfection. Obviously, any creation like a wave is less than perfection. Conditionality is less than perfection. Ornamentation also is less than perfection. Because how is it less than perfection? Because it has a beginning and an end. It cannot last forever. It's not perfect. But the one that creates is perfect. This is the tenet of Vedanta that you should know very well. You should be able to explain this to anyone. So really test it out. What is it saying? How is it saying it? So this is what number 13 is saying. He says, Vikaroti aparan bhavan. So antaschitte means the kumbhakaraha, the ghatakaraha, the pot maker, first visualizes what is it need to be done. This is called antaschittaha. Then, through its own material, it can create bahishchittaha. Antaschittaha, bahishchittaha. Means that first it visualizes in a thoughtful form, and it also has the ability to transform the inner thoughts into a material which is visible to everyone. It has that ability. So he says, Vikaroti aparan bhavan antaschitte vivasthitan niyatamscha bahishchittaha evam kalpayate prabhu. This is how it is done. And so now I think we have some more things to say, but I'm just going to go on to the next verse. So now there is a doubt which is presented. And all these doubts presented are to distinguish the dream experience from experience. It was saying they are all different experiences. You cannot compare them. The Vedantic vision is, yes, you can compare them. They are the same jati. You remember we went through this, that in the previous verses, the objectioner says that this is like cows and horses. The dream is like a cow. It's a completely different jati. You cannot compare them. And Vedanta says, no, that is not true. They are the same jati, but different forms. Swapna and Jagrat are the same. Both are anatma, and both of them are mithya. Both of them will go. Both of them are not real. But there may be some differences. So in verse number 14, the objectioner says, that's not true, because in the dream, whenever you think something, it happens. And when the thinking goes, the dream also goes. But this is not true for the waking. Because in the waking, you can have some thoughts, but things still are there without the thoughts. So for example, you have a table thought. Now you don't have a table thought, but the table is still there. So there is actually a difference between a dream, and what he's saying is that for you to say, not he is saying, but our minds are saying this, really just all the other schools of thought simply reflect our own doubts. So our own doubts are that the dream and the Jagrat Avastha are totally different. This is how we behave. We feel that the dream was gone, it's finished with, let's not talk about it very much. The main thing is I've got problems in my own life, how do I solve them? And Vedanta is saying that you please don't say that, because when you were dreaming, you were unconcerned about you were not even aware of the fact that you have a different set of personality while you're awake. You're only concerned about the dream. The same thing is true when you are awake. You're not concerned about the dream, you're only concerned about this. The fact of the matter is, you should not be concerned about either one of them. Why should I not be concerned? Because both of them are very temporary. It's not true. The doubt says that's not true, because the dream comes and goes, whereas these things I'm stuck with. I've got problems, the same problems were there yesterday, same problems are there today. So this is not going. It will go if you step back and examine the nature of the Jagrata Avastha. It is not going because you are not crossing the limits of what the analysis shows. So this is what is called Manishi. Remember we said the Manishi. You're just accepting it as it is. Fine, if you want to do that, that's up to you. But try understanding that this is another form of a dream. So there the objection is, as he says in number 14, Chittakala hi ye antastu dvayakalascha ye bahihi kalpita evate sarve visheshaha na anya hetukaha. So let's look at the word meaning of this. You should see each one of these verses very well. Yehi antaha chittakalaha. So this is an important word to see. Chittakalaha means they are only there when you think about it. Means, however, to delineate the difference, ye cha bahihi dvayakala. They are not only there when you think about it, but even when you don't think about it. This is what is called dvayakala. You can say one is ekakalaha, one is dvayakalaha. One is only there when you think about it, in the other one case, whether or not you think about it, it is there in all cases. So therefore they are different. Vedanta says this is not true. It may be true, but you have to go beyond it. How? Both of them are kalpita. Both of them are kalpita. Visheshaha na anya hetukaha. means that the main logic that we should consider following is, are they projected by my mind or not? Whether or not they are single or double doesn't matter. The main thing is that they are projected by my mind. Meaning, they also will go. One will go a little bit longer than the others, but both will go. Same logic as the dream as well as the waking. One is a little longer than the other, but both will go. Same logic. So, chitta kala hi ye antaha tu dvaya kalasche bahihi kalpita eva hi sarve visheshaha na anya hetukaha. Anya hetukaha means there is no other real reason. There is no other reason that will make it fundamentally different. They are not fundamentally different. They are different, but they are not fundamentally different. Here, one should see, and the very last point, that that the main logic for both, whether they are Chittakala or Bahishkala, is they are both removed by knowledge. So in fact the definition of it's a little getting too late. I would have probably written it down for you, and I might do that next time. So the a definition of mithya, when we say mithya, definition of mithya means mithyatvam is jnana nivartayatvam. Jnana nivartayatvam. Mithyatvam. This is the definition of mithya. What does it mean by jnana nivartayatvam? Enquiry. Means mithya. So this is the only hetu. Whether it is Chittakala or Dvayakala, the only hetu is, can it be self-existing? If it is not self-existing, means it is depending existence depending on others, it is mithya. This is one of the tenets of Vedanta you should be very clear about. These are the basics of your own thoughts that should be. That the definition of mithya is not whether it stays for a longer time, but whether or not it will eventually go. So the Srishti, the creation, is done by a Atmadeva which never disappears. And all other aparan bhavan eventually disappear. This is the main distinction. Whereas the doubter is hung up on the distinction between the experience of a dream and the experience of a waking state. We say, do not be hung up on that distinction. Why? Take it at a higher level. Your method of examination should be, is something going to disappear eventually or not? And if you can prove to me that this will never disappear, then I would say you are right. But you cannot prove that. And we can prove, on the other hand, that the entire creation is done by Deva Atma Devaha, which is also the Prabhu that never disappears. This we should be clear about. So one last thing with respect to that. So we say that yes, there are distinctions between experiences which are very subjective or objective. There are differences. So this is the same thing, another way of expressing Chittakala and Dvayakala. Chittakala are subjective experiences. Only you have it, no one else has that. Objective experiences, what is called Vyavaharika Sat, is something that you and others can also share. So follow this logic very carefully. So our doubt says that if I think of something which is not visible to others, like a dream, it has some reality, but we all agree that it doesn't have much of a reality. However, considered to that, if you and I, personal reality, it is an objective reality. So therefore, the objective reality and the personal reality are fundamentally different. One is real and the other one is wrong. And then the person sort of says, see, this is my logic. So we said, no, we don't accept it. We do agree that there is a pratibha. There is also paramarthika sat. And from the standpoint of paramarthika sat, paramarthika means, the word paramarthika is an interesting one. Paramarthika means one that is parama, which outlasts everything else when then goes. Atma Devaha and Prabhu is paramarthikam. With respect to paramarthikam, both Vyavaharika Sat and Pratibhati Bhatika Sat are equally mithya. You see the logic? One case, the distinction between Swapna and Jagrata Avastha seems to be the defining difference that we should distinguish between them, and nothing more needs to be done. We say no. You have to go another step forward. Both of them, even though there are some distinctions, we all agree with that. There is a difference between Pratibhasika Sat and Vyavaharika Sat. So we have our own personal thoughts. And regardless of those personal thoughts, there are some common experiences that we all have to adhere to. We agree with that. That's no problem. But that's not where the real distinction should be. Then what should the real distinction be? The real distinction should be, is there something? Is there means, is there a vastu? Is there a possibility of something that is superior to both of these sats? If there is, what is it? And that is the paramarthika sat, which is truth of our own existence, our own knowledge, through which we have the ability to create. We have the ability to create paramarthika, vyavaharika sat and pratibhasika sat. But it is created by an uncreated vastu, which is me. This is not just pure, this is the meaning of manifestation and non-manifestation. means that I have the ability through my own Shakti to create aparan bhavan, like an ocean. It creates it. How exactly it happens is really what the vision of the Vedanta is. So this is the discussion that Karika is pointing out with respect to these. So now we can end verse number 14. Chitta kala hi ye antastu dvaya kalascha ye bahihi. So the first line, pardon me, expresses the doubt. The second line answers the doubt. Kalpitaha evate sarve. Whether they are Chittakala or Dvayakala doesn't matter. What matters is both of them are mithya. Why are they mithya? Not just by saying they are mithya, that's not it. Because jnana nivartyatvam mithyatvam, that once they are understood, they both will disappear. Visheshaha na anya hetukaha. He says there is no other way which will override this. So this is a answer which completely explains the doubts that you have. So this is the meaning of the verse number 14. And this is an example of the tenets of Vedanta that we need to be very clear about. And so the Vedantic tenets are that there is an ability to create things through non-understanding. But the creation through non-understanding is just like a play, it's just Leela. The Leela of Ishvara. There is no other way to create. This is a very beautiful thing to say, that the creation has Sukha Dukkha, but the non-creation has no Sukha Dukkha. It is Sukham only. And so, and which is Vedanta's basic tenet is that Ishvara's nature is that if you do not understand the facts of Ishvara, there is creation. Creation means Sukha Dukkha, both. You cannot have a creation without having both Sukha Dukkha. If you do not understand Ishvara, there is creation. If you understand Ishvara, there is no creation. No Sukha Dukkha. It just is. Sukham only. So this is the nature of creation. This is what Vedanta is saying. So get to know this very well. And to be able to represent this, you can even construct your own narrative with respect to what are the Shravanam. This is what Shravanam is. You should really know this by heart. Only then will you be qualified to say, yes, I've learned the subject matter. Anyway, we'll continue with this. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhaved Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Yeah, Surendra?
The pratibha, is it like a projection in the Swapnavastha and the Vyavaharik is in the daily, but both are eventually projection only?
Both are projections. Also, the so there's several things to be talked about. Remember, we have already covered this in the last few classes. It is not correct to say that Swapnavastha is only subjective and the Jagrat Avastha is only objective. That is not correct. Why is it not correct? Because there is so-called objectivity and subjectivity even in Swapnavastha. Well, that's the example we took, that you can have a feeling that, oh my gosh, I'm going to be hit. And then you are actually hit. That's the example we took from Satish's example of accident. In the Swapnavastha, I'm talking about Swapnavastha. In Swapnavastha, you can have, the dreamer can have some internal thoughts. And the dreamer is hit by external situations even in dream. So the Pratibhasika Sat and Vyavaharika Sat also occurs in dream. And of course they occur in Jagrat Avastha very much. Because here I have some subjectivity, the only I know. And there are some things that are common with others. So both of them, that's not the major distinction.
In the Swapna, our subjectivity is based on the prarabdha?
In both cases they are based on prarabdha. Both cases. So in one case, your prarabdha is more nebulous and more quick and very personal. You create your own. In the other case, the prarabdha, because there also there is prarabdha. See, in dream also there is prarabdha in the sense that suppose you've had some unpleasant experiences in your daily life, Jagrat Avastha. You create some kind of an effect of that even in dream. That's also a prarabdha. You cannot avoid it because you have to let the steam off. Things are very unpleasant in your life. You cannot think about it. You don't choose not to think about it. But they're there in your mind. And so you have to let go of it. This is a prarabdha. This is already done. This is samskaras. Another thing which is said is that the sukha dukkha is as much of an experience in dream as it is in. So the two of them are very alike, much more than we think of that. And the more we analyze that the two are similar, the quicker you will come to the realization that I am not just a Jagrat person. I'm Turiya. I'm something more than that. And the quicker you can come to that conclusion, the better off you will be. But what happens is that we get hung up by the fact that compared to the Swapnavastha, this looks very real, and we don't cross it anymore. But we need to cross it even more by using these kinds of logic. This is what the whole thing is, you see.